Hey guys, it's Andy Fry, the author of the Consultant's Code. So last show we talked about general versus specialized skills. Today I want to start getting into the areas of the pillars. So the first pillar I'm going to talk about is intelligence. And so I want to touch on three of the areas of intelligence that I broke down. And I call it the trifecta of intelligence. And those are aptitude, knowledge, and wisdom. So I'm going to talk about each of them really builds up intelligence. And I'm going to start on wisdom. I'm just going to touch on that real quick. Our clients are paying us for our wisdom. Again, we can come in with technical knowledge. There's lots and lots of consultants with technical knowledge. That's easy to find. In fact, often our clients can find information online, or if they had enough time or they had the drive themselves, they could find out a lot of information that we go and serve. What they want is wisdom. They want us to help them, direct them through the quagmire and the swamps that they have to navigate through. That's what they want. I used to tell somebody that, they're not paying big money for someone to read a map. They pay big money for someone to navigate the client through the tough times. Now, if you're on a project, there's going to be lots of difficult times. So again, like past shows I talked about, yes, they do want their delivery, right? What they ask for, their requirements, all those things, they want that to be delivered. So they do want technical results. So there's no doubt they want that. However, they want wisdom. So the question is, as a consultant, how do you become wise? Well, the first thing is we need to have aptitude. So this is the first thing of the trifecta of intelligence. The first one is aptitude. So the first thing is we must have the ability to learn. So that isn't just the ability to learn, but that's the drive to learn. So we need the ability, the drive, and the wherewithal to go and find the information that we need. That might be school, that might be online, that might be books, that might be various places. That's what aptitude is. So you cannot become intelligent without aptitude. It's impossible. Aptitude is the first step to becoming intelligent. So after you have aptitude, now the next thing is knowledge. So you use your aptitude to acquire the knowledge, right? The knowledge then gets built, right? So as you're actually acquiring the knowledge, you're actually adding to your toolbox of skills the information that you have. So that's the second step. So when you're acquiring knowledge, again, using intent, using your skills, using focus, like we talked about the pillars, right? Now you're acquiring knowledge. Often, this is where a lot of consultants stop. They believe that the client is just paying for knowledge. They think that if they're working for a consulting firm, their bosses are just paying for knowledge. They are paying for knowledge, but really where the specialized skills, the higher value, the higher earnings come from wisdom. So where does wisdom come from? Wisdom comes from using that knowledge and the experience and other factors that come into play to build wisdom. One of the big challenges with wisdom is it takes time. Now, I've seen in my life teenagers, people in their 20s who are wise. They are wise beyond their years. That's an old saying. So one of the things that wisdom, you can acquire wisdom at a young age. However, a lot of wisdom comes from making mistakes, watching, experiencing, listening to other people. Often it takes time. But you cannot just base wisdom on experience or other people's stories. You need to tie it back to the knowledge. So this is, again, often a place where not just consultants, but a lot of people fail. They'll know certain information, but they won't tie it to wisdom. And I'll tell a quick story. Many years ago, I was at a client where they had to produce a tremendous amount of invoices on a Friday. What happened was there was a process around approvals and gathering different project costing information and marking it up. There's a whole process around that takes time. Now, this client, it was Friday morning. They had to produce, I don't know how many invoices. It was lots. And they were not going to be able to get them all completed in that day. So one of their accountants and one of the IT resources came to me and said, hey, Andy, we're proposing, and the client would like to do this, is to produce these invoices in a different system, send them out to the client, delete them out of the system, and then recreate the invoices. Now, I told them, I said, well, I don't agree with that. Actually, first of all, I asked the guys, what do you guys think? And they both said, yeah, that's okay, because they have to get the invoices out in time. So I shared my thoughts and I said, I don't agree with it. I don't think that this is the right thing to do, because you're actually producing an invoice that you're expecting to be paid on, and then you're going to delete this out. This is an audit issue that even if you do recreate the invoice, you're really circumventing the whole system. So there's a few factors there that concern me. One is setting this as a precedence. Another one is that there is a real reason that risk that an invoice is entered incorrectly, even with everybody's good intentions, an invoice is entered incorrectly. The third thing is that I don't believe for a second that the client woke up that day and thought, hey, now we have to produce 500 invoices or whatever amount that they had to produce. I believe they knew all along, and they just ran out of time. And so there's a point where people now are again circumventing the process because they weren't efficient with their time, or they didn't manage the time properly. Well, what ended up happening was it was a small company, and the controller agreed that they would do that and they would manage it and such. So they ended up doing this. But one of the things that jumped out at me was that the IT and the other resource were both accountants. They should have used that information and said, hey, you know what? I know this is incorrect. I know this isn't right. Even though the client, the requirements are the client has to get these invoices out, my wisdom says there is risk here. My wisdom says this is not the right thing to do. My wisdom says, hey, what if somebody's testing the system to see if they can fake it out at some point, produce invoices and cancel them, right? We don't know all of the reasons, but I do know that wisdom should have told them that this was not the right choice. Now, again, their controller signed off and they went and did it. But these are the things that wisdom does, right? Knowledge in itself is great, but we need to be able to use that knowledge to be wise. If you look at coaches, military personnel, right, generals, those types of people's executives in companies, often the reason they're there, and I say often because there's a lot of reasons why they're there, but often the reason they're there is because they're using wisdom to take advantage of opportunities and avoid harm or hazards. So that's what wisdom does, right? Wisdom in itself is the purpose is not just to become wise and, sit with if you're a man, a big beard and on a rocking chair with a cane, with people coming to you asking questions, right? That's not the purpose. The purpose of becoming wise is so that you can take advantage of opportunities and avoid hazards. Our clients are paying us for this, but you need to also use wisdom for your career, use wisdom to make good choices. And so again, that's built from aptitude, right? The interest to learn, the ability to learn, right? The wherewithal and the energy to learn, right? Knowledge, the ability to learn, right? The ability to capture that information, process it, have access to it, learn tools to be able to recall it and access it, right? And then third, using all of that to become wise. So, right, that's really our goal, is to become wise as human beings. So that's the trifecta of intelligence. And I wanted to share that with you because I think that's really, again, the building block on the intelligence end. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, all of these shows are about making you great. And please subscribe, sign up, email me if you have any questions. I'm more than willing to help you out. These videos are here to help you. So again, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the next show as well.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And if you'd like to reach me, please contact me at andy@theconsultingplaybook.com. I'd love to read your comments.